Did you know the failure rate of dental practices is less than 2%? Now that's reassuring until you stop to think of all the ways to fail. Now true, the economy seems to be booming today, so failure may not even be on your radar, but there's a very real possibility that many dentists won't be able to sell their practices for what they need to fund their retirements. You may be one of them. Stay tuned. After the break, I want to tell you why dentist retirement plans are threatened and what you can do about it today. Thanks for watching the Patient Attraction Podcast. I'm Colin, receiver. Now, there's an old saying that the past is prologue. And the fairly recent past was a huge recession that depressed dentist incomes for 7 years. It was only in 2015 that dentist incomes stabilized, but realize that's not the same thing as increasing. Now, you'll recall that quite a few dentists found their retirement plans put on hold by the Great Recession. The values of their practices plummeted. They couldn't get the price or the terms that they needed to retire as they had planned. Now, you might think the Great Recession can't happen again, and I would agree that you might be right. But economic downturns don't hit every industry equally. Right now, the profession of dentistry is unusually vulnerable to another recession. A wide array of economists are warning that we're overdue for the next recession or setback. And we're actually right now in the longest bull market since World War II. Now, why are dentists particularly vulnerable, like I said a second ago? Well, I want to tell you about 3 major forces that right now are kind of combining and causing this perfect storm. They were in play prior to the Great Recession, but they've really amped up in magnitude. Corporate dentistry, new dental school grads, and declining insurance reimbursements. Now, like I said, these forces existed prior to 2007, but 10 years later, they've gotten a lot stronger and a lot more interconnected. Now, there are far more corporate dental practices than there were 9 years ago. In fact, corporate dentistry bought up a lot of private practices that couldn't withstand the storm. Those practices offer a haven for an increasing number of debt-laden new dental school graduates. The corporate chains are luring them in through debt repayment offers and sign-on bonuses. And once those graduates have paid down or paid off their debts, they'll still represent increased competition. Some will continue to work for that chain, while others may go out and open their own practice. Now, some graduates will get to work for large group practices, and the last will open their own private practices. Any way you look at it, the private dentist is facing steadily increasing competition for the foreseeable future. And this is happening at the same time that insurance companies are continuing to cut those reimbursements like never before. Now, with more of the payment burden shifted to patients, they're going to be seeking out the lowest cost provider. Now, a race to the bottom seems inevitable, and corporate and large group practices are best positioned right now to win that race. Those 3 forces are more strongly in play now than at any time in the past, but the impact of the recession of 2008 hasn't faded for most people. At the first sign of economic trouble, many individuals and families begin to hoard money. In fact, even today in 2017, there's more money in the checking accounts than has been on average in the past 30 years. They'll be concerned about the possibility of loss of income again. So they'll defer or even cancel needed dental care. We're already hearing reports that the number of canceled appointments has increased. Add economic uncertainty to the mix of corporate dentistry, new grads, and declining reimbursements, dentists are facing a perfect storm. Now, no matter how close or far from retirement you may be, you're still looking at having to change your plans, just like all those dentists did in 2008. Now, this is the short version of what you're facing. If you want the long version, get a copy of my book. I'm not trying to sell you a copy. Okay? The 4 Horsemen of Dentistry, Survival Strategies for the Private Dental Practice Under Siege, examines all these problems in depth. And again, I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'll give it to you, actually, as my gift to the dental industry to help you guys, all the private practices like my dad, that are battling these 4 forces I feel so strongly about warning you guys that I'm giving my book away for just $2. Get your copy at practiceundersiege.com/special offer. You'll learn how you can keep your retirement on track no matter what these four forces combine and do. Join me for our next podcast. Until then, keep moving forward.